Recorded.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Sandy, how you doing?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of New Sham Town Council meeting for Tuesday, July 5th. I'd like to just make an announcement that we do have a few members of the council that couldn't join us this evening. So we are only going to take on items number 1 and 2 this evening, and we're going to continue items 3 through 17. 3 through 17, that sounds funny. I believe we can set that meeting for July 11th, Millie?
Yes, Monday, July 11th.
Okay, Monday, July 11th, we will continue items 3 through 17. So tonight we will be discussing items 1 and 2. I'd like to announce that anyone wishing to speak from the audience will be asked to rise and to use the central microphone to ensure audio for those watching from home. With that being said, item number 1 on the agenda is public comment. Does anybody have any public comment for us this evening?
For those who haven't seen it, you can see the new screen. The new audio system is in place and we have a new screen. So hopefully this meeting will even go better. There
Thank you,
go.
Sven. Cindy, got some public comment for us this evening? Thank you.
Cindy, the mic, that you just click the mic on, it should be. Push. Hi, hello, everybody. It's working very well. I just wanted to, my public comment is about the parking on Old Town Road, which is completely out of hand and very dangerous. And I'm talking specifically between. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
No laughing.
Yeah. I'll stand and continuing. So it seems that at the Historical Society, there is that bump out. So you can fit like, 3 cars there, but it is encroaching up to and around Calico Hill. And it's been going on for a few years now. We have, the neighbors have called the police and about it, and they say that the tire has to be on, within the white line, but it's such a dangerous situation and getting far worse now that we had 4 cars just this weekend, every day, including today, just parked around the circle. So when you're heading to the town hall, and I'm a walker, I walk to work every day, I walk everywhere. It's just so completely dangerous you have bikes, carriages, people, dogs, just all forced to walk in the road now because there's absolutely no sidewalk down there because the cars are right where we used to be able to walk, the cars are there. In addition, I wanted to mention, and I want to not script the microphone, that Chief Moynihan sent on May 28th via the Black Island Bulletin Board as a reminder, there is no street parking on Weldon's Way or Old Town Road at any time except where specifically designated. Tickets will be issued for any vehicles parked in the roadway over the white line. In addition, parking restrictions, things like that. So, I mean, it was mentioned by the former chief. I walk to work at probably 20 of 7, 6 days a week. And most of the cars are kids getting out of their cars and going to work, as we know, that's what they do. And a lot of cars, I think, there's a car that's been there for weeks with mask plates. I think it's an Explorer or something, that people are just using it for parking, and it's not right. Dangerous. So we're sort of wondering what the next step is to do as neighbors, because we have identified it with the police and we're not getting anywhere, and it's gotten worse. So any ideas?
Under public comment, we don't normally have a discussion
Ideas.
about things, but I will just, when you were through, I was going to ask the town manager to look into these concerns.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
Right?
Thanks.
Thank you, but
It's getting worse. And it's not, no, it's not new. I think it's been like 3 years. There's not enough parking in town.
Yeah.
Obviously, but I mean, it's a neighborhood. It's a residential neighborhood. Next, they're gonna be on Chapel Street. I mean, they're everywhere, but it's dangerous. It's really, really dangerous.
Yeah, Cindy, I thank you for that. I didn't know there were people, personally, I didn't know there were people parking and staying there for overnight. I thought it
I
was
think
just
it's
the
overnight. I
overflow.
don't go down there
Yeah.
too much.
I just assumed when I went by there, it was just for the local businesses that are there and they
Yeah.
were coming and going.
No, and I
and
don't want to
leaving.
begrudge Bridget at all either, because I mean, Bridget has a nice viable business, but she does have parking in there. So-
Right.
So there's really no reason for these people to be parking there, except
Okay.
that they are parking and going to work
Okay.
or doing whatever. Well, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Appreciate you coming, Cindy. Thank you. On the vein of that, I guess I'll have some public comment about traffic. I'm just wondering, Mary Ann, if you could it's about Baby Beach and the crosswalk again. I know we couldn't. It's about the Baby Beach and the crosswalk. I know we couldn't get that done. But I've been down by there. We all know it's busy there. It's a busy place and people with families coming out. And I'm just wondering if like a barrel or something to slow traffic down as people are walking to the beach. If there's something simple we could do this summer. And I want to just reiterate that I understand the state, it's a state road and whatnot, but if there's something we could simply do down there just to slow people down, the families crossing the beach, that would be great. Yeah, that's what I meant by a barrel or something. I don't know what they use these days. Anybody else have any public comment for us this, evening? Martha?
I mean, what's gonna happen if we put a crosswalk there?
It does slow, people stop at crosswalks.
But no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, is anybody, what would be the downside of our putting a crosswalk?
Right. I don't think there's anything. It's just that the town cannot do it.
Well, maybe somebody else will do it.
Appreciate that, Martha. I know.
Next year when they came to stripe, they striped right over it. And it became real.
Thank you, Martha. Marcy, you want me-
So, because it was 4th of July weekend and it was a pretty busy weekend, I did ask the chief to come tonight to just spend 3 to 4 minutes to update the council on the weekend. He is also looking and compiling other statistical information, rescue runs and stuff like that he is working on. So I did ask him to come tonight if the council wanted to hear from him for about 3 or 4 minutes about the weekend.
Absolutely. Appreciate that, chief.
Thank you very much. Very nice to meet you all. I'm Pete Shabbat. I'm a captain of the state police. Again, I just want to thank everybody for the warm welcome that I've received by the locals, the visitors, and it's really made me feel extremely welcome. I know it was the heat of things that I just came in, and unfortunately, Chief Moynihan has departed during this time, and the 4th of July weekend is always one of the busiest weekends I hear, and I was here to witness it firsthand. There was a significant amount of people. I don't know what it was comparable to last year. I was not here last year during the COVID times or whatnot, but based on the numbers that I saw that were coming in and out of the boat, and the incidents, accidents, and investigations that we had from not only being a member of a local police department at one time, but being here as well, they were fairly minimal. One thing that I do contribute that to, and I think we're just going to give the men and the women on the police department and the CSOs a pat on the back, because they were extremely visible. Everyone has commented on when people come off the boats that they see them. They're very approachable, and they're very cognizant of the fact that we will do whatever you ask, and that's what we do. Relative to that, there was only one moped incident this weekend where a moped went off the road. There were a couple other minor accidents, one involving a bicycle and a pedestrian, of which the vehicles were not at fault. Vehicle operators were not at fault. It was determined that based on the investigation. There were a couple other investigations that we are currently conducting, and there were a couple of arrests. Open investigations I'm unable to speak about. Those are being handled by New Shore Police Department and with the assistance of the state police. and we'll get down to the bottom of that. But those incidents are extremely of very, very low numbers. As far as rescue calls, because I'm trying to get a general idea, a general basis of everything that has happened. And again, this being my first relatively big weekend, I think I've been here 3 weekends in a row, and the 4th of July was significant. And the traffic situation was fine. I'm still looking to see some reports from the rescues to see predominantly what they responded to and what other incidents they had to go to, which takes up the time from them from other calls as well. So once I gather those facts, I'd be more than happy to share it with you all. But other than that, I again thank you very much for your hospitality, and I hope the parade worked well and there was no incidents during that. We ran out of gas. Great.
Big crowd, it was very welcome. And I can speak on behalf of all of us. When you go back tomorrow, just some heartfelt thanks to the guys in the council for what they went through for us this weekend. Because we all go through town, it's much more than in the past, and that didn't stop with you arriving. I think it was an orderly weekend. We obviously know that some of the things happened, but it was the 4th of July and busy weekend. So our much gratitude to you and the department.
Well, I appreciate it. Again, one thing that I didn't know about the parking lots. If someone comes up to me with a problem, they can come up to me. I'm very approachable, and I go out on my own. I don't think I've had a day off in 9 days because I want to make sure that the things that Matt or Chief Moynihan instituted remain the same. I feel they were strong, and I feel that they were good for the town. But if anyone has an issue, I'm always walking. I will be at the ferry as often as I can. And if anyone has an issue or a problem or a complaint, they can come up to me directly, and we can try to resolve it in a way that would best suit those individuals.
Great. So, go ahead, sir.
Chief, maybe you can help me. You mentioned there were a couple of investigations that are currently underway, and I don't want to discuss them at all. Can you just tell us a little bit about the process and what happens, and then to some degree, the resolve of that?
Well, it depends on it depends on the investigation, but we have a credit card stolen investigation. We'll determine what that is, and then we'll carry on with the investigation to determine a suspect. If we ultimately determine there's a suspect, then we'll effect an arrest. But I think the investigative techniques that we utilize is not a public or should be made for a public forum. I think that every investigation, every person that's involved in an investigation, whether it be a suspect or even a victim, that should remain private until the matter is resolved. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Chief. Keep up the good work. Item number 2 on the agenda. Oh, sorry, what? Does somebody have a comment? I think we're good. Yeah. Item number 2 on the agenda is the town council meeting is the Board of License Commissioners. A public hearing for discuss and act on the transfer of a Class BV liquor license from Tail Fins LLC, member John J. Franchi, doing business as Finn Seafood Restaurant, to TMG BI Operating Inc. stockholder Thomas J. Martucci, doing business as to be determined, 212 Water Street, Plat 6, Lot 157. Mr. Martucci, you're here with us this evening?
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
I can.
Hello?
Who am I speaking with?
My name is Sanford J. Resnick. I'm an attorney. My office is located at 300 Centerville Road, Warwick, Rhode Island, and I represent Thomas J. Martucci and TMG BI Operating Inc. And I'd like to just say a few words by way of introducing my client, and then I'll have my client answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much for attending this evening. Go ahead with your comments.
Thank you. Mr. Martucci, known as TJ, is a experienced restaurateur in Rhode Island. And just to give you a few that he owns, operates hands-on. Some of you will know some of these. The Trap, which is located in Warwick. The Safe House, which is located in Warwick. Bezos, which is located in East Greenwich. The Kai Bar in East Greenwich. And recently, we received a permission license transfer and almost getting close to opening up will be the Trap North, which is in Smithfield. And this year, we also have received permission from the town of Narragansett. It's a vacant lot right now, and we'll be building what will be known as Trap South. And I'd also like to add that Mr. Matucci is a good neighbor. He gets involved in the community, and people will know. TJ knows. We even got involved in Smithfield, quite frankly, before we even got our license transfer. So I think we'll be an excellent neighbor. And without further ado, I'm going to let you ask Mr. Matucci whatever questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Resnick.
You're welcome.
TJ?
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Council. Thank you for having us today. Yeah, I'm TJ Martucci, or formerly Thomas Martucci. I grew up in Rhode Island my whole life. I was born in Narragansett. We moved for the family restaurant business to Cranston when I was a young kid. I'm an accountant by trade. I spent my first 16 years of my career in corporate finance, Hasbro Toys, Stanley Black & Decker, some venture capitalist work. And I never thought I would go into the restaurant business full time. I swore it off the day I graduated college. I told my parents they were crazy, and I sucked me back in. So I do very much love the restaurant business, very much love being self-employed and being an entrepreneur. And as it relates to this project, I love Block Island. I've been coming here consistently for about 16 years, mostly as a boater. My parents brought me sporadically as a child, but I just, I absolutely, no place I'd rather be, throughout the summer. And, so this potential purchase is somewhat of a passion project for me, as well as hopefully, obviously, it financially hits the mark that some of my other projects do. I know you jokingly smiled when it said to be determined. I need to stand in the space for it to start to speak to me and understand like kind of what I want to do. I will say that I'm building my brand out on the backs of the Trap Brew Pub and Grill, which is it's just a good business model. But to date, that space hasn't spoken to me as a trap yet. So it's most likely not ever going to be a trap. It would be something that I'm going to have to create. Obviously, I'm guessing probably seafood and Italian based. And I haven't come up with a name or anything like that, but I have a pretty experienced architect design team. I work full time with my interior designer. So I can promise you that for one, whatever we build is going to be spectacular. I think there's certainly a calling for the island at times for some nicer stuff to be served. Certainly during the day, you want to stay more casual. But I think I'm mostly excited to try to bring that building back to life. I had a wonderful meeting with Mrs. Howarth before I really mentally made the decision to move forward with the project. We obviously a lot of due diligence with structural engineers coming out and my architect coming out, and certainly I'm going to need help from the town to bring that building back to life. That if we want to bring them good ideas, and we hope those good ideas are well received. If it's no, then it's going to be difficult for us to kind of dump $1 million into that building if everything's a no. So, which I don't think it will be, but I'm really excited to work with Mrs. Howarth next door. There's a little bit of shared property there. So we want to get that straightened out, and really excited to bring that building back to life. So with that, any questions for me or comments?
Council, any questions for Mr. Matucci?
Staples in the application. You don't know that.
So
God,
I'll go ahead, Barb. Don't worry.
time of it.
So quick question. Can you describe, I know you you haven't been in the space enough, and I got that. Describe a little bit about the overall business model you envision. Is it a restaurant that also has a bar service? Or is it a bar club that also serves food?
See, a trap would want to compete with something like a Kittens and Nick's, and with the housing up above, with the church across the street, with just kind of being a little bit more saturated in more of the downtown area. I don't think it would play well in that area. So no, I'm thinking let Ernie's continue to own the breakfast space in there and only do lunch and dinner. Certainly as a landlord and as a restaurant owner, when you shut those lights off, the bank's that clock still ticks, right? So I'm definitely a proponent of trying to make the business operate as long as it can, but there's also ways for you to keep people in the seats, keep them having cocktails without live music. A lot can be done with good audio, through quality sound like that. You can keep it low, but it's crisp kind of thing. But certainly for any kind of entertainment, I would be thinking it's lunch only, out on the deck at best. But no, I'm thinking more of a formal restaurant with something that would hopefully have a little bit of not a drinking scene, but just, I'm hoping people don't eat dinner and just go on their way. I'm hoping people would sit and relax and have maybe an espresso or a sambuca or something like that, but not a business that's going to run till 1 o'clock in the morning. It's just that I don't think that location calls for it personally.
And then secondly, and obviously this is a premature question because you haven't been here and established it, your thoughts on seasonality. I think we've seen a number of restaurants that are high-end do very, very well throughout the year, especially with broadband coming. I think there's going to be more people here into the fall and spring. Are you envisioning this as much a 2-month operation, or is this really sort of as long as you can into the shoulders?
I'd like to stay within the shoulder months. I mean, I recognize that you guys do have a pretty strong wedding business in September and October. It's funny. I think I said it to my realtor, and that is, of all the restaurants I have throughout the state, I have this much interest in being on the chamber. And for some reason, I recognize the challenges you guys have here, and I'm not saying I have any kind of magic bullet, but if I was ever afforded the opportunity to join the chamber, I would very much like to do so. And how does this island capitalize on those shoulder months, right? Like, what is the secret sauce in Nantucket outside of more population, obviously, but full-time residents? But what's the secret sauce in Nantucket, and why are people going there, in April, May, and things like that? And then why are they still there in October? And December 10th, I think they do their big holiday stroll. And why is that so popular? That kind of thing. But that's kind of for another day. But no, I mean, I'd like to try to fight it out and be there for, hopefully 4 to 5 months if we can. I certainly don't anticipate on staying open year round, unfortunately. The plan is to basically take those resources, i.e. employees, and basically just put them into thankfully we have enough places that I can take a general manager and not lay that person off. I can take the head chef and not lay that head chef off, and I can absorb them within our normal footprint, and then hopefully have a little bit of a head start come the following year, that we're not starting all over fresh again. Thank you. Yes, sir.
I just have a couple of technical questions, and I'm pretty familiar with the property from just a historical perspective. Do you have an easement for parking?
I believe there's 7 spaces that are part of the footprint there. And Sandy, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that we have a parking easement. I think that.
No, just those existing spaces within the footprint. I believe it is 7.
But so a number of the spaces that exist that are used potentially could disappear.
Not due to anything.
It's the spaces to the east of the building that are within the property line, I think.
That's correct.
The ones that are to the, I'm not very good at directions, northish, facing the parking lot. I think they're not in your land, are they?
They're not. Nope. They were for the last couple of years leased from the tenant that was in, excluding last year. The tenant that was in the old Finns, they had an affiliation with the people that own that parking lot. So they were able to secure a lease for 7 or 8 spots along the back side of the building as well.
Yeah.
But I don't anticipate on one, them agreeing to that, and 2, needing that.
Have you had any conversations with them?
A few.
Okay.
Yep.
So when do you plan to open this summer?
I don't actually, and that's something that Millie and I had talked about, and I think I would do your town a disservice, and I think I would do my brand a disservice by trying to somehow miraculously close, figure out a concept, decorate it, clean it up, hire, and then try to open up. It just won't happen.
Okay, good, because it was, as you know, I'm sure it was open for what, 7 days or something last summer, which is an exaggeration, but that's what it seemed like.
Yeah. Yeah, if it was, if it meant to secure the liquor license and for it to not to go dormant or for it not to retire, which I don't believe that is the case, I certainly could pull something off, but it wouldn't be my first choice to try to open up this year.
Yeah, I'd rather see it done right. And it sounds like you've got the, although I don't go north of Wakefield, so I really don't know much about.
So the old Charlie O's, we
But-
bought the old Charlie
But you
O's.
just bought it. You haven't actually done anything with it yet, so.
If I have more success in this town than I do in Narragansett, this project will go before Narragansett. But unfortunately,
Okay.
I've been set back a few times in Narragansett.
So then we're,
I have 5.
we have incentive to help you, in other words.
But most of my restaurants today are in East Greenwich. So if you go to East Greenwich, you would know the brands.
No. I'm really not joking either. I didn't think I'd ever get this bad. I don't have any other questions about it. There was a change in liquor law, Millie. I'm sure it had to do, how did that impact it? You sent it out today, I think.
Yeah, today. That was,
If you run the restaurants, you know this.
yeah, regarding, the BD license, the legislature just passed a law requiring food to be served at all times, which has always been part of the conceptual portion of the law, but it seems like they have added some, more type of language regarding that. Same area that you're serving drinks can be throughout the time.
That won't be a challenge for us because we plan on running a restaurant there, not a bar.
It seemed like it was what's supposed to be, but too often doesn't happen. Sounds like you're already doing that, though.
We are.
Excellent. I have nothing else.
Thank you, Martha. Millie, can you clarify transfer of liquor license? And I do know the question, I just want it for public. I know the answer, I think. So if we grant this license to Mr. Martucci, because he's a new owner, he has another year to use that license. He doesn't have to use it by the end of the year.
Yes, that's correct.
That is correct. So we grant this license to him. He has until January 1st, 2023.
So November.
Right.
Yeah, excuse me, yeah, November 30th,
2023, because he's a new owner and
So he'll receive the license now, he will receive, assuming that's the case, he'll receive a renewal that he'll act on in November, and then he'll have it, then here's a year will begin.
okay, I wanted that to be abundantly clear because I know if we grant the license and some people will ask if, well, he's not going to be open, is he going to be able to keep it? So I just wanted that to be clear for the record that we're all good here to head off that question, so to speak. Council good? Any more questions? I'll make a motion to grant, I'll get public comment after I make a motion. A motion will be in order to grant, I want to make a motion to grant the transfer of the Class BV liquor license from Tail Fins LLC, member John J. Franchi, doing business as Finn's Seafood Restaurant, to TMGVI Operating Incorporated, stakeholder Thomas J. Martucci, doing business as to be determined, 212 Water Street, Plat 6, Lot 157, subject to payment of licensing fees, clearance from the Rhode Island Division of Taxation Clearance, approval from the Rhode Island Department of Health, and an insurance certificate.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. Is there any public comment on the application? Cindy, would you like to have a public comment?
Hi, my name is Cindy Pappas, and I received public notice of Mr. Martucci's application. I am an abutter at Sullivan Sotheby's and also a member of the Harbor Church since 1975. So on behalf of myself, and I think on behalf of the church, I wanted to meet the applicant, which I did earlier, and also welcome you to the community and wish you success. But I also did want to say that for as long as the Howarths owned that property, both Block Island and the church enjoyed a wonderful relationship, very supportive, great neighbors, and it is our sincere wish that that will happen in the future.
Thank you, Cindy. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any more public comment? All those in favor of the transfer, Martha?
Aye.
I'm in favor, Sven.
Aye.
Motion will carry 3-0 with the absence of Councilors Stover and Emmanuel.
And what is the best way to reach you?
It's on every application, my email, and the number on there is my personal cell
That
phone.
is okay. So I have a fair amount of historical information about that building.
Fantastic.
My great grandfather built it.
Any old pictures or anything would be helpful.
She wants a bartending job.
Thank you very much for your consideration.
We're gonna go.
Excuse me, could I jump in for 1 second?
Yes, go ahead.
The, number 2, there was an A and a B.
Yeah, we're
you
gonna
have to
move on to
take
B.
us-
I don't want you to leave.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I didn't want TJ to leave. Item number B is a public hearing to discuss and act on a new application for an outdoor entertainment license for TMG BI Operating Incorporated, 212 Water Street, Plat 6, Lot 157. TJ, if you want to comment on any of that or have your attorney do it?
I really file that for every business that I buy and every liquor license, whether we're gonna use outdoor entertainment or not. We got one in Smithfield. The deck's actually even too small to have a musician outside in Smithfield, but just for a matter of good housekeeping and good practice, we always file with that. In this example, I would anticipate on using it of more of like a 4 to 7 type of thing. At least initially, that's what comes to mind. It really wouldn't blend well with dinner service or anything like that. It would be more to get the call it the adults, to wrap up their day at the beach and things like that, and to come have maybe a cocktail before drink, a drink before dinner would be really the main purpose of any kind of entertainment there.
Council have any questions?
You mentioned before about sort of down speakers and et cetera. So you're really thinking about a couple of, not a big band or not loud entertainment to entice a huge crowd,
Just
or?
a single member acoustic type of thing.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
think,
just the
don't-
approach you're taking is that.
I'm not looking to attract people with the noise. I would hope that eventually I would attract them just with the brand recognition, and that they would just know that there's a relaxing vibe there, but certainly not looking to put anything there that would get people heads to turn because they're 300 yards away and they hear live music type of thing.
Right, because your earlier comment before, which I appreciated, is your other models sort of are a little bit more like the Kittens, which is a little bit more about noise and large groups, which is fine. That's a model. I agree with you that that's probably not the best place for that kind of approach. So I think.
Yeah, I think church aside, the space doesn't, it's not speaking to me that way. Like I usually have very high vaulted ceilings in my restaurants, like the traps and stuff like that. And it's not giving me that energy yet, you know, to be honest with you. So that, and I just think it just wouldn't really vibe well with everything that's going on down there. So, you know, why fight that? You know, I think, you know, this restaurant won't make, what's gonna pay the bills, you know?
The food will, the quality of food.
Yeah, that and, you know, really good tenants in the building and things like that, you know? Yes, sir.
Martha, any comments on this one? No. I don't have any comments on this one. Make a motion to grant a new outdoor entertainment license for TMG BI Operating Incorporated, 212 Water Street, Plat 6, Lot 157.
Second.
Second by Sven. Public comment? All good. All those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
I'm in favor. Sven?
Aye.
Motion will carry.
Congratulations.
Motion will carry 3-0 with the absence of, 3-0 with the absence of Councilor Stover and Emmanuel. Thank you, TJ.
Thank you very much. May I just say one thing in closing?
Absolutely.
I have never met Millie. I'd like to meet Millie. Millie was so helpful to us in my office and myself personally. I'd like to say thank you very much.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. She's certainly a keeper and we understand, we
Yeah.
understand.
You're not hiring.
And you can't have her.
It's too bad. I was just getting ready to offer a job.
I'm sorry, we should review this? Oh, no.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thanks for attending this evening. TJ, congratulations on your recent purchase.
Thank you again, Council. Appreciate
Wish
it.
you, like as Cindy said, wish you the best of luck. It's a great building. I think we're all glad to see it operating, you know, so
Excellent. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. I will make a motion to continue the rest of the agenda through till July 11th at 7 PM. Seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Martha?
Aye.
I'm in favor. Sven? Motion carries 3-0 with the absences of the other two. Make a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Is that a second?
Yes.
Martha?
Mhm.
I'm in favor?
Yes.
All right, Sven's in favor. We adjourn. We'll see you on the 11th, hopefully. And thank you for coming.
Talk to them.